Welcome to the EST Hangout.
This is the EST Hangout, and today's guests are...
Right. Hey, very good Monday morning to you. Welcome to the EST Hangout live right here on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton Sports, presented by Play Alberta. The Hangout brought to you by Sentinel Storage, Canada's storage experts. Thank you to everyone for listening across the Edmonton Sports Talk audio streams at edmontonsportstalk.com. Tune in, iHeartRadio, watch it on YouTube or listening on podcast, wherever you get your podcast. Matt Iwanyk, Tom Gazzola with you here. It's Monday, so Murray's in studio today, and Reid Wilkins gracing us with his presence on this Monday to start the work week. Gentlemen, how are we doing? How's everyone's weekends?
Well, I want to hear about Feisty Reid over here. Wow, he's
I love
doing
Feisty Reid. He's the best.
Yeah, good. I had a great weekend.
How was the Pandas game on Friday, barring the outside of the score?
Good. Yeah, I hadn't been to one in a while. That's a great venue to watch basketball, like the Saville Center. Seats are comfortable. Even the bench seating, like they don't all have backs, but even the bench seating I found comfortable. You feel like you could reach out and touch center court. It's a good atmosphere. And the Pandas were the top two, for people who missed it last week, it was the top two teams in the country in the rankings. Huskies number 1, Pandas number 2, both 10-0 in Canada West play, both undefeated overall, factoring all the exhibition games. And it was tied after 3 quarters, and the Huskies came out on fire in the fourth, went on a 13-2 run. Pandas were down 11. They got back within 5, but couldn't get over the hump. So tough. I thought the Huskies, I thought their defensive play really made the difference. Like the Pandas just couldn't get a clean look. And then I didn't go Saturday, but I texted Connor Hood, who just the sports information guy, and the Pandas were down 9 in the fourth, tied it with something like 10 seconds left, and the Huskies won it by 2 with 5 seconds left. So the Huskies did sweep, so they'll stay number 1.
Did you hang out with Jay Milne on the Friday, or did you just get there and then separate?
No, I hung out with his whole family.
Wow.
And what was cool for me, so April, of course, was a Pandas basketball player while Jay was a Bears football player. That's how they met. This was the early aughts. And then, so I think 2005 they finished playing. And then I did Pandas and Bears play-by-play from, I believe, 07 to 13, something like that. And so I just kind of followed them to where they were sitting, and there were these other women around there. And I said to Jay, did she play? And he goes, yeah, and she played, and that's her, and that's her. And I was like, I called their games because, of course, they know April through all being alums. So that was kind of neat to see. And there's a lot of alumni support at the games, as you can imagine. So I was glad to go. The result, too bad. Huskies are good, but Pandas are good. They'll probably play again in the Canada West final.
Are you alum support?
I was not there this weekend.
Oh, no.
I had other plans. I'm an alum of the school, remember that. But I have the jacket for the football team.
Oh, yes, I see it
I'm
every
a
day.
Golden Bear football alum jacket holder.
But not a player, just a jacket.
Well, you could think of it as you want.
He was
I
honored.
have a Golden Bears football alumni jacket. Not anyone just gets those.
Did Jay give it to you?
Chris Morris did. He knighted him.
No, Chris
really?
Morris
I didn't
knighted
know
me. Chris Morris knighted me as a alum of the University of Alberta. So I am a Golden Bear officially. Chris Morris said so. You can't say no to Chris Morris.
Well, no, he's a little bigger than you. You can't say no to him.
No, like no one else could go challenge him on that. You're going to tell Chris Morris I'm not an alum?
But
No.
you're not.
But I am. Chris Morris appointed me. He
got the
knighted
jacket,
me. He
Murray.
was still with the Golden Bears at the time. He was months away from taking the new job. So I am, without question, an alum of the Golden Bears at the U of A. Cheers.
Well, that's certainly one way to look at it.
I would say that's the only way they should be looked at.
Well, I was listening to Hangout on Friday, and Jay, I was listening, so I wasn't watching, but Jay had on his alumni
Is Block A.
Block A.
Block A, okay. And then, but I was wondering, because they said if you lose it, you don't get it back or whatever. But I was wondering, like, what happens if someone put one of those up on eBay or whatever? Like, see, you could have just bought that jacket off of eBay and just pretended you were an alumni too. But that would
I didn't do that.
Would that be blasphemous though? If they
I don't think you'd do that with the Block A.
I think they're too respected.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like a cult.
It's like, I don't know how to put.
I acknowledge your head nod.
No, it's a little different because it stays in the house. But it's like having a green jacket. It's like partly an exclusive club from the U of A. That why would you give that up?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
You didn't have to pay for it. I don't think. Like you're giving it. I'd have to double check with Jay. It's a cool little club. Why would you put that up for sale? Like I think that if you got it, it just has that meaning.
Yeah.
You were down on your luck and you.
I don't think it would get a lot of money.
No.
It wouldn't, eh?
No,
If
like
it's not
what
that,
meaning would it have to anybody else?
Well, so they
I
could
could
wear
get-
it and pretend like he's pretending right now.
I'm not pretending. I'm an alum. I
guess.
I'm an alum. No, and it's like I don't think it would fetch you much. I wonder what would happen. Like you pass, do kids just hold on to it? Then does it have to get burned? Should be some like rituals for that.
Maybe
Again,
You get
wear
buried in it?
wear
Maybe you have to
your
get buried in
burial,
it?
yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, you could have it for if you live a long life, you could have it for 6 or 7 decades after you play. So I don't know if it would still be in circulation, if it would still be being worn by then.
Hey, vintage
I
clothing.
don't know. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. These are questions I'm surprised anybody would think of.
Lars, Maddie, where's your Block A alum sweater? I didn't play for 3 years, so I don't get one. I'm just an alum. I never said I played for 3 years with the university. So that we just have to understand. How many other people had that Block? It was like a lot of wearing, or was it just Jay?
No, well, April wore hers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
I saw. I wasn't looking too closely, but yeah, there were definitely other alum there because Jay pointed them out to me. Like, oh, she played then. Yeah, it was a good, enthusiastic crowd. A couple of the ex-players were really on the refs. One in particular, which is always the extra. As much as refs get it in general, I feel basketball refs get it a little more. Maybe it's just the proximity to the play and that you can really see their faces and they're that close. And, in a group of 3, there always seems to be that one. Like, Tom, we watch all the hockey games.
Yes.
I mean, as most people do. But when we're lucky enough to be at the home games, I mean, I don't necessarily know to which ref made which penalty call all the time.
I don't.
And they wear helmets. The names haven't been on there for a long time. Obviously, maybe there are some people watching who could tell me the names and numbers of all the refs.
Well,
I don't know which ref wears which
They
number.
know Steve Kazari, that's for sure.
Well, true, but I feel as if in basketball, even if it's Canada West, because the ref makes the call, and then they run over to the table, and then they run back, and I found this. And I know members of the basketball reffing community just from doing the games and having this job. But they get the worst reffing outfits. Like they have to wear those black pants and they always have those black shoes that are kind of runners, but they kind of don't look like runners.
Yeah.
And they all referees run, all basketball referees. And if there's a basketball referee out there listening, I say this with love, but you probably know this if you've seen video yourself. You just all seem to run with that weird shuffle.
Even the
I think it's
NBA
just the way
refs.
they position themselves, or maybe just the flow of the game. And then they all have their own. I got to put my coffee down here. They all have. I'm sorry for the people on the audio stream. Matt, you'll have to describe what I'm doing. But so if Tom gets a foul,
Yeah.
and Tom's number 13, they have to put the numbers up. I think they put them up backwards to themselves so the scorer can read it. So it would go, go like this. But they all seem to have their own finger alignment. Like some will do a 1 normally like that, and some will go like 1, like 1, 3, and like, why are you like positioning your
Reid's
hands
just putting
like
up
that?
his hands, and
like
putting
weird,
up fingers
like
for the
putting up a
numbers.
pinky for a 1 instead of a 1.
Yeah.
Or they just always seem to have their fingers at weird angles. But anyway, a couple of the alumni were really on this one ref. Like he was a younger ref. I had never seen him before. Obviously, he's probably pretty good if he reached the Canada West level. But it was just one of those nights where if there was anything that was close,
Little
it seemed
questionable.
to be him that was making the call. And there was one where he was the ref up high, and there was a call under the basket where there's another ref like 4 feet away, but he blew his whistle and called something. So then the ex-Pandas were all like, "That's not your call. What are you doing? You shouldn't be calling that."
I love that.
So that kind of adds to the if it's some passionate but ultimately under control heckling. I'm okay with that. Nobody was storming the court or going to slash this guy's tires after the game.
Was
That
it
you
pretty
know
full?
of.
Yeah, that you know of.
That you know of, yes. Thank you, Matthew, for pointing that out.
Was it pretty full at Saville
That's-
Center?
I was just going to ask, what kind of crowds do they normally
Yeah,
get
it was.
there?
It wasn't bad. I mean, unfortunately, I haven't been to a basketball game for a few years. I wouldn't even know what to estimate I mean, obviously the venue doesn't hold thousands.
Yeah.
I mean, what would it hold? A couple thousand if it was packed? Would it even hold that much?
It's nice, and there's room in there.
Yeah, I mean, there was
When it's
certainly
full and stuff, it's
1,500,
got a great atmosphere to
there
it.
was certainly in the high hundreds, I would say. Like, it wasn't like 150 people.
Right.
But it wouldn't have been 3,000 either.
1 versus 2 in the country probably brought out more than normal, I would
Yeah.
think. But I mean, I don't know that for sure.
Well, you'd hope
hope
so.
so.
Like, I remember when I used to go to U of A games more often, I would see some of the same people, and not necessarily former players. Like, sometimes, like probably seniors or recently retired people, or maybe profs. I'd see them at a lot of the same games, right? Because I don't know if you can get ticket packages. I remember when I was a student, and this was a long time ago, I got a 10 at the start of the school year. I got a 10-pack of tickets, and I could use them for any event I wanted to go to.
Cool.
As
I
a
went
student,
out-
that's just automatic. They give
No, you had to
you had to
buy it,
buy
but I
it,
think it was
okay.
discounted because you're buying in bulk.
Right.
And I mean, it was probably
students already
it was
got a
at
discount,
that time. It was
too.
probably, I honestly think it was $40. Like, it was $4 a game. This was early '90s, and I think I went to like 6 hockey games, 3 basketball games, and a volleyball game because I like going.
Yeah.
Right. But there are. It's still like everybody loves the U of A, and especially the hockey has a lot of cachet. I still don't know how many of those people go as often as maybe you'd like to see them go. I mean, even myself, I don't go as often as I would like, but I like talking about it and being able to cover it a little bit.
Yeah.
But it was a decent crowd, but it wasn't packed or anything.
25 to 2,800, they say, is the
nice.
capacity for Saville.
It's a nice facility.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. I always enjoy going to U of A and like seeing games there because I find it's like a city within our city, and you see like the weird students with poor hygiene and I'm a people watcher, so I like looking at them and seeing what they're doing. You go to the ticket window and you're like, oh, they're little weirdos working the tickets, probably don't even know what game they're selling right now. And then you go into the arena, let's say for a U of A Golden Bears game, and then you got the corner where they're stacking the beers, and then you can see all the players' girlfriends, check them out. I don't anymore because I'm way too old now. But it has like its own subculture. And then you see like the old guys that used to play U of A or high level hockey, and then you just have casual fans that just show up and want to watch good hockey. I like it. I really kind of am disappointed in myself for not going to U of A or applying myself with my studies to be able to go to a school like that. Although I'm very happy with my decision to go into broadcasting, but it's cool. Like, this is whole own thing is what it is. And I kind of jealous of it, to be honest with you.
Well, I've never been to a basketball or U of A basketball or volleyball game there, but my son was playing basketball there. And so often when we were going there, either the Pandas or Golden Bears basketball teams and or volleyball teams were practicing. And so I'd stop and watch because I was blown away. Like, holy, are they good players?
Yeah.
And great athletes and whatnot. So, to be able to go to the games and enjoy it, like, it was impressive how talented they were.
I love the volleyball. I think that the volleyball program doesn't get enough love for how good it's been for as long as it's been. In a way, it's like that almost is their bread and butter down at the U of A. It's that volleyball
The
program.
hockey team's been pretty good for most of the last 30 years, no?
Maybe even
Yeah,
longer.
but volleyball has been right up there.
Has it?
Like, they're constantly ranked up there in
Yeah,
the top
they are.
part of the country, both sides too.
I'll have to check. The Pandas might be one this year. I'm not sure. I mean, the Bears this was a while ago when Terry Danilik was still coaching. I think the Golden Bears had a stretch. I think they were in the national final 7 consecutive years.
In volleyball?
And won 3 times, out of the 7. And they've usually been pretty good. But volleyball is an interesting sport because it's not as big in the States. Right. So, and the conferences in the States aren't the same. And it's bigger in the Western
Midwestern
States?
stuff, yep.
Yeah,
Like
so-
Nebraska, it's just starting to get big. And Nebraska sold out a football stadium for people to watch.
Oh, did they?
For
Where
volleyball?
they put Nebraska was playing inside the football stadium for a game, or they had like this massive, they did like an outdoor thing almost with it, and it was huge because volleyball's just starting to pick up down there.
I remember this was probably the 90s and early 2000s, but there was they would have it was either a preseason or a Christmas tournament. I think it was the men, and it would often be like Alberta, another Canada West team, and then Pepperdine and UCLA, because UCLA, which is obviously a giant American school, would come to Canada to get a little better competition because there weren't as many teams playing volleyball in the States.
And we'd beat them.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Bears would do well.
They just dominate.
If you were an alumni, I would question your we there, but okay. Pass.
Men's ranking their third in volleyball. I'll go to women's volleyball.
Why did I
Is there
throw
an
this
email
one
from
out there?
Connor
Like,
for the weekend?
what do you guys think
And their
attribute?
pandas were number one in their last
They're
rankings that
number
I
one.
see.
So what do you guys attribute the athletic success to for U of A? Because, basketball, volleyball, football, hockey.
They've won a national title, at least one national title since, I want to say the early 90s, or was it late 80s?
So, I mean, there's other great schools, big schools with UFC and UBC and Saskatchewan, Manitoba. I mean, those are, good schools too. Like, why does Alberta seem to excel in athletics over those other schools? I don't know the answer.
Well, I think there are some other schools that are pretty good. I mean, I think, or have sports that they're good at. And I mean, now, and you got to remember when it comes to football, the Golden Bears have been generally not very good. I think the size of the school, and then I think it's just the leadership and the coaching, right? I mean,
It works well with Claire Drake starting a lot
men's
of it.
hockey. There's generally not a lot of coaching changes. Like it's generally a program where somebody's there for a long time. I mean, Horwood was synonymous with the men's basketball program for a long time. Greg Francis wasn't there very long, but then Barnaby Craddock was there over a decade. Now they have a new coach, Jeff Pippis, who's an alum, so they build that. Scott Edwards, the Pandas basketball coach, has been there. He must be a little over 20 years now, I think. Wow. Obviously, Daniluk coached the men's volleyball for a long time. Eisler coached the Pandas volleyball for a long time. So I think it's just that I think hiring the right people and then letting them build a program and bring in good athletes and sort of establish, I know this word is overused, but establish that culture of how you do things and the standards you perform to. And that, I think now hopefully the Bears hockey team is not having a good year. And by their standards, I think the last 2 or 3 years haven't been as good. They did lose a ton of players to the NCAA this past offseason. But, I know from interviewing a lot of Bears hockey players over the past decade and a half, it's like an honor to play for the Bears, right? Or Edmonton guys who went and played in the WHL and then come back and play for the Bears. Well, my dad took me to Bears games when I was 6. Mm-hmm. Like it was so cool to see them. And now I'm one of them, right? Mm-hmm. I think that's all part of a bit of even the mystique about it. I think the Bears hockey team has to get it back to some extent. But yeah, usually, as Matt was saying, usually the volleyball teams are top 5 in the nation, are national championship contenders. Usually at least one of the basketball teams are top 10 or sometimes both. I mean, this is a really good year for the Pandas. They're usually up there. Golden Bears are usually at least very good or quite competitive. Mm-hmm. So I think it's just the leadership and the coaching, good recruiting, and then the players come in and take it seriously and do a good job themselves.
All of Northern Alberta is yours. I don't know if that helps.
Yeah. Well,
but like in that GTA, or like if you there's a lot of schools not too far from the GTA that if you want to leave home, you're not leaving too far.
Yeah.
Maybe it gets spread out a little bit. But, Edmonton, we're big city, produced a lot of athletes.
Yeah. And
Chuba Hubbard just scored a touchdown in the NFL playoffs this weekend.
Nice.
Who did, sorry?
Chuba Hubbard.
Oh, did he? Oh, good.
I think he got 2, didn't he?
Was it 2?
I thought he got 2.
Yeah. I want to follow up on something you were talking about there with the Golden Bears. Like now, this NCAA rule changes where you can play now in the dub and then go there. I never thought for a second that it would impact CIS hockey, but it obviously has if they lost a whole bunch of guys to go down there, because typically their players come the WHL, then they're graduate from WHL. If they don't go play pro hockey, they go play CIS hockey and use their education money that they got from playing. But now if they can take that and go to the NCAA, that would have a significant impact, wouldn't it?
We'll see what happens. I mean, this is just the first full. Is this the first full year of it?
Yes, yeah.
I'm worried, and I guess from an Alberta perspective, it's happened to the Golden Bears. I'm worried that U Sports is going to get hit the hardest. I mean, the WHL will lose players, but at least they'll have them probably until their draft year. They'll still have them at 8, probably till 18. So maybe they lose a year of them.
Which a lot of those guys end up trading to contenders in their 19, 20-year-old years anyway.
Right.
Unless they're a contender, if they're in the dub.
But I think, I don't know about every single hockey team in Canada West. Claire Drake is a historic building. It's not without the mystique, it's not a great hockey rink.
No.
And
Getting renovation this year, but I don't know what it is.
It's being renovated next year, but the renovations are more to like fix the plumbing. Like I've heard like overflows into the shower areas and stuff. Like, so that's why they're going to Silent Ice next year. So that worries me a little bit because we know what it's like with U.S. colleges. If they want to build something, they generally build. I mean, doesn't Oregon football have a nicer locker room than any NFL team?
Yeah.
Don't you press a button and your locker opens for you in front of you? So,
Alabama too.
right.
Teleport somewhere else just to have your own quiet room and stuff.
Right. So, and if you're a hockey player, maybe you think, well, I can go play for Penn State because their rink is like a little mini NHL rink or something like that. So, I don't know. I'm a little worried about that, how it's going to affect U Sports big long term.
Having been to like BU, Denver, and a couple of other NCAA hockey rinks, unbelievably superior to what U Sport Canada West has. Oh, wow. It's incredible, but it just goes to the amount of funding that those schools have.
Yeah. When you talk about the guys having them to their draft year, though, when you look at what's happening with Gavin McKenna down there, he lit up the WHL and with Medicine Hat last year, and he's not lighting anything up. He's got 4 goals in the NCAA.
Scored a nice one over the weekend.
Tynan Lawrence, who's a top 5 projected pick this year, he left the USHL and just played his first 2 games for BU this weekend. No points for him. So these guys, and Verhoff's in there, and I mean he's okay. He's about half point a game as a defenseman, which isn't too bad. But when you look at what's happening with McKenna and now Lawrence, I mean, it's a small sample size with Lawrence, 2 games. But if these guys are going there at 17 years old and not seeing success and seeing their draft status drop because they're not lighting it up, you might see those guys want to stick around at least one more year in the Western Hockey League before they make that move.
Yeah. Yeah. And Dan Neer, who's the commissioner of the WHL, has been pretty outspoken about it, and he came on Hello Hockey at the start of the season, and he said that he thinks it's going to be interesting to watch, and that guys will realize they made the wrong decision, and they weren't ready for NCAA hockey, and he thinks it'll make them second guess making the jump. To paraphrase his 25-minute interview that we had with him, but it is interesting though because it's opened up doors to other opportunities. For some guys, it might work. For some others, that it might not work. But if you're playing U of A hockey, which is damn good hockey, and then you get an opportunity like Marc Lajoie did to go play, I think he's in Omaha, Nebraska. I feel like if you played a little bit of U Sport, you probably have an easier time adjusting to NCAA because you're of that age. You have the experience.
Used to going up against more of the men.
Yeah, exactly. I would think in theory, but it's been an interesting kind of experiment in hockey right now.
Is that where Gabinette's the coach? Nebraska, Omaha? I'm trying to remember. Mike Gabinette.
Mike Gabinette.
So that's Claire Drake's grandson, right?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. So there's so he's got he was a Lloyd Blazer when I started in.
Yes, I remember that.
But yeah, Gabinette's there, and they took some Golden Bears. I can't remember who went where. Somebody went to Arizona State, didn't they?
Yeah, I think so.
I can't remember where they all went. But they took, Sean Chagall was a great rookie last year for the Bears. Aiden de la Gorgendiere, great name. He's one of the best Bears I've seen in recent memory, a defenseman. And he left as well.
Yeah.
So they lost a bunch of guys off last year's team.
Two of the GM of the Golden Bears sons work at the ranch and have for a few years. And so he comes out a lot. I was asking him, like 2 years ago, he was telling me how this was his best recruiting class that he's ever got.
Stan's kids?
Yeah, Stan's
Nice.
kids work at the ranch. So it was fascinating that you said that they had so many guys leave, because he was so proud of his recruiting that he had done and who he brought in, that they all got poached by NCAA when those rules changed. So, yeah, and he maybe obviously didn't back that recruiting.
Yeah, I don't know
class
how
up
many
this year.
from that, but a couple of younger guys would have definitely gone that were probably part of that class, because they had a couple. Who was it? Highland. Brett Highland was very good. I think he left. I can't remember who all left. But those three guys I mentioned were three of the better players on the team.
Who would have helped this Golden Bears team
Oh, for
to
sure. Yeah.
elevate and get into contention again?
So it's one you just have to wait and see how this all fully plays out. But like Reid, I was always worried. Like, it wasn't the WHL is going to be fine. WHL is going to find players. Even you'll just pluck from the next league, and it's just all those lower leagues that you have to start looking closer to.
You know what league I think is, I mean, seems like, and by all accounts, is taking a hit, is the AJHL. It's having a tough go.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah, just have to go younger probably in the AJ, which then deflates AAA midget and whatnot too, right? So
Belzy's been talking about it for the last couple of years. He's like, we run these ID camps, but I'm basically like trying to get these players, and it's like you're negotiating a contract with parents to get them over it. They threaten you and they say, well, I've got this opportunity for this price at this academy, but no schooling or something like that. What are you going to do for school? And he's like, well, we have this program for our schooling. And then someone would be like, well, my kid could go play AAA for Southside Athletic Club and would be guaranteed top 2 lines. Well, why would I take him over to your program? And I'm thinking to myself, like, how did this turn into a negotiation to make AAA instead of tryouts?
right, exactly.
Not to say that, like, back in my era 25 years ago, there's a lot of politics involved, and some guys who shouldn't make those teams because of their parents and negotiating. But it's basically taken away tryouts and actually earning a spot on these teams, where it's just can your dad finagle his way onto the team your kid wants to play for?
Yeah, right. Advertising dollars or whatever. Yeah.
Very much so.
A lot more options. So now when there's more options to go coach or play for, the parents are going to have the ability to be like, well, do you want my kid or not?
Yeah, but the hockey's watered down, Matty. That's the problem.
But that's we've added way too many options then maybe.
Yeah.
Guaranteeing a kid top 2 line, though, that's pretty bold.
Well, I mean, it's
Yeah.
tactic or whatever.
Sure.
When I left Lloydminster for the Blazers, I was content with my junior P team. And my dad's like, I talked to the coach in Melfort. He says you'd be a second line player on the Mustangs. I'm like, where the hell is Melfort? I'm like, oh, SJHL. And it's like, Melfort is a city of 6,000 people or whatever. I remember reading it on Wikipedia, and I went upstairs from the basement to the kitchen. I looked at my dad. I'm like, so I didn't like Lloydminster. I thought it was too small. And you telling me I can go play in Melfort that's even smaller. I'm like, I'm good. I'm going to go back to working in the Costco tire shop.
Well, that is, I don't know what it's like now, but by the way, you would have been a Blazer / Bobcat while I was working there.
Yeah,
I could have covered Tom Gazzola.
I would have been at that camp.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was right before preseason started.
It was like 04 or 05. Yeah.
Yeah. 03.
Okay, so they were still the Blazers. But I remember, so the Bonneville Pontiacs generally weren't very good. And then they hired a coach named Jeff Pister, who'd been in Manitoba for a few years. And they were lucky enough to get a junior B player off the St. Paul Canadians, who made a big difference.
Mark Letestu by any chance? Oh.
So they got better, but I still don't think they ever made it past the second round. But I remember talking to Jeff Pister, who was the coach, and he's like, I just got to work my you-know-what off to recruit kids, because I remember him saying to me once, do you know what a big deal it is that a Boston Pizza opened here? No, but seriously, because you bring out a kid. Yeah. And look, I almost hate bringing this up, because like these are great communities. You know,
they are
great places
I love
to live.
Lloyd.
But I understand, like, if you lived if you grew up in Edmonton and you went to whatever high school and you got a Boston Pizza and a Kelsey's and a Moxie's and a Brewster's or whatever. Well, I guess in high school you couldn't drink beer, but you go to Brewster's for nachos or whatever. You know, within a dozen blocks of your school or your house or a bus ride, and then you go out to Bonnyville and you don't see any of these chains. You know, you might not realize what there is to do there. I mean, that would be a tougher sell. Like, I think Bonnyville's probably around that Melfort size, maybe even a little. I can't remember.
Yeah, because Bonnyville, Cold Lake, St. Paul, kind of. That's all like the area, right?
Yeah.
What would we call that? The Lakeland region.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But also it's you still gotta. It's not like they're all connected.
Yeah,
Like,
that's true.
I always found Cold Lake was a cool kind of smaller city. They got a lake there.
Yes, they do.
Freezing cold water.
Really cold.
Freezing cold water.
But I didn't realize that till I went and did news in Lloydminster, and I was like, I really screwed up. Like, this is actually a nice community and people that care. It's not perfect, but I was like, why didn't I just stay here? I'm an idiot. I was 18, just turned 18 years old or 17 years old, and I was like, that was dumb. I should have just stayed.
Great trivia question. Which team in the Alberta Junior Hockey League does not play its home games in Alberta?
Lloyd.
Yeah.
No, unless they've moved to that other rink. I'm not
They-
sure if
I think they did move.
They moved, so that one
But I
is on
think
the
it is.
Alberta side.
Maybe
No, the big multiplex is just on the west
that's
side
right.
of Highway 17.
that's right.
If
Commonwealth,
they
it was
moved to
called
that one.
Service Center.
The Service Center, yeah. The Centennial Civic Center was, and I assume still is, in Saskatchewan.
Yeah. And the golf course there is really nice. It's the fairgrounds, agricultural society, all that.
Oh, yeah, that
Curling
is a
rink.
nice golf course.
Saskatchewan
Yeah.
too, right?
Yeah, and that rink, I remember going there for the first time. I think I actually played in a tournament in Lloydminster first, and then I got like the letters to come out to their camps. But I remember I'm like, this is Bill Hunter Arena. It's the exact same design, except they obviously put more money into it. But I was like, oh my,
Right.
yeah.
So when Letestu was in Bonnyville, and when you were there, Harry York, another very talented player that played in the NHL, he was also in Bonnyville for a while. So
Before
he
me,
was before
me.
you. Oh, okay.
Yeah. York played in the AJ before I was there. I mean, obviously Comrie, Heatley, those would have been in the 90s. Brodeur was a goalie on Camrose, Mike Brodeur. Who was the guy that was drafted in the first round by Boston? I saw.
He played for Camrose Kodiak.
Yes. Was
he's
it
from
last name started with
Calgary.
a C?
Yeah, he's
Coburn?
from Calgary.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Big oil money.
Joe Coburn?
I think it was Joe Colmore. Yeah.
Colborne. I think.
Colborne,
Right.
yeah.
Colborne, yeah.
Remember Glenn Fisher, who was drafted by the Oilers from Fort Sask?
That's right. Yeah.
I've ran into him recently. Belsey and I saw him at a bar, oddly enough. But yeah, there's a lot. It was a good league.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm probably missing a few guys that either kind of made the NHL or were late round picks and might have played a few games.
From the AJ?
Well,
Oh, yeah.
Well,
who was-
Cale McCarr.
Oh, yeah, he was
Yeah.
Brooks.
Oh, McCarr, yeah.
That's
Mason
yeah,
Raymond.
He went right to the
Yeah.
playoffs
Yeah.
and started crushing.
Yeah. I was thinking more of guys
Yeah.
I might have covered.
Remember Mason Raymond?
Oh, yeah. I would have
was-
covered
he was
Raymond.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was Calgary Canucks. I want to
Yeah.
Yeah, but
They,
the South teams, they only came once for one game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
they did in the 04 lockout, they did like a AJHL weekend or games at the Coliseum. And a guy I play with, oh God, I can't remember his name. But he was in the AJ and little smaller defenseman, but he could hit like a truck. And he caught Mason Raymond in mid ice. It was bad. It was real bad in front of everyone. There's a couple thousand people watching at the Coliseum.
One year when I was down south, I came up to a golf buying show here, and I decided I was hearing about the St. Albert Saints and how good they were, and so I wanted to go watch one of their games while I was up here. And one line, the center was Comrie, and his winger was Jamie Lundmark.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and so holy, no wonder those guys were skating circles around everybody because they were awfully talented.
Yeah.
It was fun to watch. That was a good
Clark
game.
MacArthur played Drayton Valley before he went to Medicine Hat.
I talked to Clark MacArthur about that, yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's from Lloyd.
Yeah, that was always like a big deal that he didn't stay to play for the Blazers. Because I think the year he was in Drayton, I think they won the league title.
Yeah.
I think he was 16 or 17, and then he went to the Dub.
He lives in Florida. He golfs with Michael Jordan like every second day.
Yeah, he wound up in Florida.
He's pretty tight with MJ. It's crazy.
Wow, all these old guys that we're talking about.
I know.
You've been around. The other question I have is this: you guys, because you were starting Lloydminster, you started Lloydminster. It wasn't that long ago that somebody else was in this chair on the Hangout was started in Lloydminster. Like, does every freaking
Clausen.
media person, Clausen, right?
Yeah.
Does every media person in Edmonton start in Lloydminster?
Well, there's a
or
lot.
what?
There's a few that were there.
There's quite a few. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a
Yeah,
great
I mean,
station.
What's the
The radio station at Goat.
Well, they used to hire a lot of people, right? I mean, where I used to work, which is now shut down, and where Tom was,
Yeah.
I mean, there was a full radio station that was. So if you were on the music side, you want to be a host or a DJ. You know, there was a morning show, there was a midday show, there was an afternoon show,
Even
then they
evenings.
would need. There was evenings, I think, where
Yeah,
they'd have someone
there
to
still
voice
was.
track. While I was there, that got cut down to just a morning show. So I was there from 2000 to 2007. You know, on the TV side, when I started, there was still a noon show. There was a noon news, 6 news, and a late news. So you needed anchors for all those. You needed 4 reporters to do stories. There were 3 shooters. There's 2 sports guys. And then, you know, that slowly got, you know, the noon news got cut back. Then I think there might have even been a time they were like taping the late news at 7:30, like just after the 6 ended.
When I was
that
there,
got cut back, you know,
what year did you leave, Lloyd?
May of 07.
I got there in fall of 08.
Oh.
And I was doing my practicum. The news reporter, my first day, I had to shadow her the whole day. We had a 5 and a late night, or a 6 and a late night.
Yeah, and they added a 5 after I left, or one of the stations.
I'll tell you when I was there what happened. And it was the economic crisis, 08 or whatever. And the newsroom was shrinking. They still had 3 shooters. We had 3 shooters, 2 sports guys, 6 o'clock anchor, and a late night anchor, and a weekend anchor. And then we had a weather person, agriculture reporter, and the weather person did the same thing. And then we had 1 news reporter, and then the practicum student, me. My first day, I shadow around the news reporter, Sarah Offen. I think she's at Global Calgary right now. And she goes, well, today was my last day. I'm off to Calgary. And good luck to you, Tom. And I was like, thank you? Like, what does that mean? And Stacey Comer, who was the news director at the time, was like, okay, you're a news reporter. I'm like, I've never done news. Okay.
Figure it out.
I guess. And that's basically what I had to do. And I had to do agricultural stories. That's where I did the story on potash, and I called it potash because I had no clue what it was. Yes,
Right.
I was that dense. And Stace
You're not the first one to do that.
Yeah, but Stace called me to the office the next day. I'm like, okay, I filled like 3 or 4 minutes of the show. I've never been on a farm, a fertilizer
You're a city's
farm.
liquor.
Like, right? Like, I was like, I did good. I got it done in time. And she's like, good story, good content, but what the hell is potash? And I was like, fertilizer, what are you talking about? She goes, it's potash, you idiot. I'm like, well, I had no idea. And the editor didn't catch it or didn't bother to.
Probably didn't, yeah.
Just didn't care. I mean, we had a couple editors, but yeah. And then by the end of it, we had turned the late night, because it was a CTV and CBC twin stick. And by the end of it, I was anchoring the 6 o'clock news. We had a 5 o'clock full hour, 6 o'clock half hour. On one side, on CBC, the 6 o'clock would air live, and on CTV, it would air at 11. And it was very strange that. And then I think we pre-packaged a half hour news show for noon the next day, so you could catch up.
Okay, yeah.
Something to that effect. And then I also did this show, Week in a Review.
Oh, yeah.
That aired on weekends, but it was all like the big stories of the week, and we pre-taped it on Friday.
Yeah, that's
live,
right.
and,
We had
and,
that.
and it was a good like training ground, because like it was live to tape. So if you effed up, it's like,
still
okay, we're
stayed.
gonna redo that one.
But that's why so many people went through Lloyd, is because there were so many jobs there.
Yes. It
Yep.
sounds
I
like
mean,
that's crazy.
I probably mentioned 15 positions, and then there was all the behind the scenes stuff. So
Yeah.
you know that,
it was a busy building.
There was always turnover, right? So it was a good place for people to get their first or second job.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some people moved on quickly. Other people like me were there a while, but it was. I mean, that's why you have like Slav, Vinesh.
Yep.
They were Lloyd too?
Adam Cook was there before me. Josh.
Yeah. Daryl McIntyre.
back
Brian
in the
Mudryk.
day. I mean, there's so many people that I couldn't even list now because they were there after
Carly Agro.
after I was. Well, Natasha was my practicum student in sports for a couple months before she went. Where she was in PA and somewhere else, and then she was TSN, and now she works for the Stamps and the or for the Calgary Sports Entertainment Group.
I worked with her at CTV Edmonton with Cookie.
Oh yeah,
and Dave Mitchell and those guys. Yeah, and I remember Daryl McIntyre and Carrie Dahl being in the newsroom. I'm like, what am I doing here? I'm the new sports guy.
And I still see a couple camera guys who were shooters in Lloyd with me. Like Wes was there.
Wes was there.
I see Wes all the time.
Yeah.
People like that. So there were jobs there.
Yeah.
And then there were fewer jobs there, and now there's not even a station there at all.
That's so sad,
which
man.
is just tragic, I think.
So where are guys that are the future you guys, where are they getting their feet wet now?
Well, here.
Yeah.
I mean, we have 3 younger people here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm counting Trev still.
Yeah.
He's younger, even though he's older than the other 2.
He went through Lethbridge, right? That's where Dusty went to. Yeah, it was Lethbridge. And then we have 2 that came from Nate. That
Right.
we've kept on board. We had another practicum, Eric. He was Brendan Eric. He was. We've had a few practicums. So yeah, we have 3 young guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but there's not as many in both sides, TV and radio. There's not a lot of opportunities.
No.
There's a lot. That's even from the radio perspective. You mentioned everything in Lloyd, but then the Bonnievilles would have their own stations, and the Cold Lakes would have their own stations.
They would at least usually have morning shows.
They'd have at
if
least
not,
one
maybe
show and a drive show sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes they would have a 6 to 6.
So you'd have all these, even every little city had its own radio station. Then all of a sudden it was, okay, one person's going to be in, let's say, Bonneville, and they're going to do 6 stations.
Yeah.
And now it's just to a degree, it's all coming from a major market.
Yeah.
Now people in Edmonton are doing radio stations for the entire province, basically, and other provinces too.
Yeah.
That there are just less jobs to go get, but at the same time, the radio industry is also kind of, from the more mainstream way of it, they're just looking for younger and cheaper. So you could also just get a job where you too soon, but you might just get a major market job pretty quick because they're going cheaper.
Yeah. Unless it's, sorry.
Oh, I was just going to add, I remember the guy I moved to Lloyd with, I played hockey against him. He was a Southside guy, ended up playing for the Edmonton Royals, Chris Geese, awesome dude. We both got a place together. Remember, what do they call it? New Cap Manor? That, right down the street from the
Cedar
station.
Manors.
Yeah.
Because it was a cluster of about 10 apartment buildings, all 3-story walk-ups with a tennis court in the middle or something.
And everybody from the station lived in and around these buildings. So you'd always have parties and everybody would go out together. Anyway, he got offered a music director job within the company in Bonneville. And he's like, I have to take it because I'm going to get paid and I'm a music director. And I was like, all right, well, I guess I have to get a 1-bedroom within this complex now. And it was literally within a month and from his practicum starting. And that's, it was
And
crazy.
Is he still in the industry now, or?
No, he left. I think he moved to Hamilton for a bit. I've heard from him a couple times. I think he's friends with, Tyler Budinsky, T-Bud. He comes out to some of our events. Good guy too.
Okay.
I get updates from him every now and then, but yeah, he kind of just, he went and did his own thing. He was kind of his own kind of guy too. Great guy. And we went to college together and he's like, got my practicum in Lloyd. Did you? I was like, yeah. He's like, you want to get a place together? I'm like, yeah, I guess so. And it only lasted a month. And he got offered a job as a music director in, up there in Lakeland region, as they called it.
Right.
Sorry.
Well,
I interrupted you.
Say, no, that's just you did your practicum there. I did my practicum at Global Saskatoon because when I was finishing Nate in when did I finish? 1999. Generally, and I wanted to anchor, report sports and stuff like that. And, I was told generally the larger the city you do your practicum in, the less you're going to get to do.
Yep.
So I somehow landed this, I can't remember the process. I got this practicum in Saskatoon and they were still doing a half-hour sports show, Dutchy and Stelkowski used to do, and then
Sports
Karius
Night?
and Sexsmith.
Yeah.
It was called Sports. It was called Sports Line.
Oh, sports. Line.
And you know, as I was kind of told, you know, it's over the summer, so you'll get to do stories and you'll get experience. You won't get to anchor. You'll get to anchor off air, so you have a tape, like you can do a pretend sportscast maybe later on. You can do a few later on in your practicum. But I had a great summer there because I got to do a ton, and guys were off, so it was like, okay, we got to do a race. They had a little stock car oval there. They have to do a race report every Sunday, so it's like, okay, you can do that and go to you know, the Huskies football summer workout and do a story and stuff like that. But so that was interesting. Like now you have, and I'm not, I mean, I'm speaking generally. Certainly there were people around Tom and mine's era who might start in Edmonton or Calgary. Sure.
Yeah.
But
It was
that
rare,
was the
though.
thing. I was even told,
He started.
don't even do
I started here.
Don't even do your practicum at like CTV Edmonton or Global Edmonton,
Yeah.
because you'll just sit there and watch people. They'll just want you to get coffee. Like maybe if you're lucky, you'll get to do a story. Whereas basically at Global Saskatoon, I was probably doing not a story a day, but I was doing quite a bit and learning a lot. And like there was a really good crew there. So it was Jay Onright, RJ Broadhead, and Derek Bidwell. Got along
Jeez.
great with all three of those guys.
Wow.
You know, and you know, and I was already, how old was I? 23, 24. Like I was serious. Well, I would even be a little older than that. Like I was serious about the profession. So it was a really good experience. But yeah, I do think it's changed just because there are fewer options for where to work. Therefore, there are fewer options where to even go do your practicum, you know?
Yeah. Well, RDTV's gone. That was a good one. I think there was a station in Medicine Hat. I don't know if it's still going.
No, that one goes shut down.
I think it's gone. Lethbridge is gone. I mean, Jamie Thomas was at Lethbridge
Yeah.
for a long time. Well, not for a long time. I don't know, but a couple of years probably at least. So that's the thing. Like it was like, I mean, I hate to say this, use the word normal, but sort of a typical maybe progression would have been, say, Lloydminster, right? Then Medicine Hat, Lethbridge, or Red Deer, then Regina, then Calgary, or Edmonton, right?
Yep.
You know, it would have been like, okay,
Small mid-major.
but it was also, I remember there was a reporter I worked with in Lloyd. But see, this is the thing, Murray. The frustrating thing I had, and I think other people would have had, was not every station followed the progression.
Right.
So I worked with a young woman in Lloyd. She was a really good reporter. She was from Edmonton, and she turned out doing quite well. But she was, you know, she wanted to eventually be in Edmonton again, and it's like, okay, well, you can't go from Lloyd to Edmonton. Like you can't.
I did.
You did.
I got lucky,
But you're
though.
very talented, and even the few years after this would have been probably 5 years after the story I'm talking about. So she's trying to get a job in like Saskatoon or Regina because she'd applied. She talked to Spellacy, and he's like, you got a lot of potential and you're good, but you got like a year's experience.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't hire somebody with a year experience. You got to go to Saskatoon, Regina, you know, Windsor, whatever.
Yeah.
You know? So she applies for a job in Saskatoon, and the news director tells her, well, like, you're pretty good, but she goes, I hire local people first. I want people who know Saskatchewan and know Saskatoon. So she's like, I can't get a job in Edmonton because I have to get a job in Saskatoon first, and I can't get a job in Saskatoon because I'm from Edmonton.
Yep.
You know, so there was always these friggin' barriers, right, to getting a job. Like, okay, you tell me I got to do this, and another director's telling me, no, you got to do this.
Yep.
And another news director's telling me you got to do this, and you can't do all of them, or you can't change where you grew up. In her case,
Right.
You know.
I got shut down in Saskatchewan a couple of times. I wonder if it was because of that. I'm like, how am I not getting anything over here? But I'm going to an even bigger market in Edmonton, back in Alberta. Like, what the hell's going on? It's fickle. At least it was fickle that way.
Yeah. Well, you got to get, like, it is true. You got to get your foot in the door, and then you got to make the most of it. I mean, I know everybody jokes how I didn't hire Dustin. Well, I hired the guy who was my practicum student.
Was that Johnny
It
Glasgow?
was Kevin. It was Kevin Jesus.
Oh, Kevin Jesus. He
Right.
went and had a good
Who
career.
had a great. He just
Yeah.
left broadcasting a year ago.
Yeah.
I mean, he worked 20 years. He was at
He's a
Global
Nate grad.
Leventon. Yeah, Nate
Yeah.
grad. So I mean, that's the thing. If you could just get that practicum, Murray, then you're in the system, right? Then you're and if you work hard, as opposed to coming from. Because for me, what happened was the news director, Greg Buchanan, left after working there a long time. And then I got promoted to news director. So they let me hire the new person. Kevin had been a practicum student. Well, I interviewed 4 people, Kevin and Dustin and a couple others. They were all pretty good. So what was the tiebreaker for me? Well, I know this guy.
Yeah.
He's already been in the market for 4 months. He knows how to turn on the computer on the program, and he knows the coaches' names and stuff like that, right? So, but that's true to a lot of industries. Like, get in there, make yourself known. But like those first couple steps are often the hardest, right?
It is funny though watching U.S. TV, like their CBS or ABC markets, because it all still seems old school. It all still seems like they have full newsrooms on the TV side, and they have 4 networks, 4 news channels down there and all that. But it's all still old school down south.
There's much more emphasis on news, sports, radio in the U.S. and that media, and like using it as the information source. Whereas here, it's very casual. I find it's like, don't watch the news. Yeah, I saw the first 10 minutes. Oh, there's that person. She does weather, whatever. Whereas down there, it's like, what's going on with the weather this week? Am I going to have a good week? I get to take the boat out? Tell me. Oh my God, you're at the grocery store, weather person. Or, hey, sports guy, what happened with the college team this week? Why'd they lose? Did you talk to the players? Here they're like, oh, there's that jackass. There's a different mentality around it. And Matty, that is probably why it's more traditional. I mean, you and I worked with Johnny Glasgow, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Johnny went from, I think he was in Lloyd, then he went to CTV, then he went to CTV Edmonton. Then he and I were working together at the Score part-time. Then he quit the business to sell cars in Kelowna, took his girlfriend there, was done with that. I remember him calling me and be like, I think I'm getting back into TV. What do you think? I'm like, Johnny, you're good. Like, I'm sure someone will give you a shot. Ended up at CTV Regina on the morning show. Ended up back here in Edmonton, CTV morning show. NBC News down in Denver. And then now he's on Newsmax. And not to get political, but he's like, I'm mega now. And I'm like, okay, dude, you do your thing. But the money he's making, he's living in New York City. And one of the girls he's working with, one of the ladies he's working with, she used to be the Flyers sideline or rinkside reporter. And I'm just like, whoa, like this is big time. And he's like, the way you get treated, he's like, even in Denver, like it makes us in Canada look like small potatoes. And I understand.
Like their
comment makes
evening
me
11
remind me of
o'clock
that.
news still has 2 anchors. Some of the places.
Yep.
They have 2 anchors on 11 o'clock at night.
They treat it with like it's very important.
Yeah.
And it's a necessity, and we put resources into it, and then they sell the crap out of it to make sure it's viable financially. And it's just the mentality around media down there is stronger than it is here.
Although the Pittsburgh just announced the closure of their big newspaper, the Post-Gazette's closing down in May this year.
Wow.
They just announced that last week. So I know if down there, the newspapers still, those ones definitely struggle. But yeah, Pittsburgh, major market. You got NFL, you got NHL, you got MLB, and they're one of their biggest paper, I think it is. The Post-Gazette is going to be shutting down in May.
Wow.
And basically, like the Edmonton Journal was saying that we're done for sure now. Like, I don't know how many people have picked up a Journal lately or some.
Pretty thin.
There's
But it's still-
nobody in the newsroom at the Journal.
I know, but it's still like one of the knowing that it's there.
Yeah.
But imagine if they ever, like, we're done. It'd be like, whoa, like, now you guys are actually done. So, yeah, I don't know what the future holds there, Murray, with all those, the media and the TV stations and the radio stations. But like the hockey world with U Sport and all that, I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
This is the EST Hangout presented by Sentinel Storage, Canada's storage experts. Find a convenient location nearest you at sentinel.ca. Portions of this hour of the Hangout, they're brought to you by The Hive Product Marketing, official merch partner of Edmonton Sports Talk. Promotional products that bring the buzz. Check them out, thehiveproductmarketing.com. Tommy, Maddie, Murray, and Reid with you here. Reid Wilkins Show with Jay Milne coming up at 3 o'clock later today. We also have EST Afternoons, Oil Stream, Lock Shop, and then the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pre- and post-game shows starting 5:30, right? Because it's a game.
Yeah, 7:30 start today.
6:30.
6:30, pardon me. 7:30 in Chicago.
Oilers in Chicago. Murray's Blackhawks.
Yes, excited. I even dressed my kid up in Blackhawk colors today. I didn't put a Blackhawk shirt on him, but he's definitely wearing Blackhawk colors today.
What is he? Who's his number one team? If you asked him specifically,
Depends on the minute.
if I asked him,
Depends on the minute. He changed it. If you asked, he'd probably say Chicago, but he's gone through phases. He wrote a letter to every single player on the Ottawa Senators last year.
Sweet.
Then he got on
Get anything
San
back?
Jose. Oh yes, lots of stuff. And then San Jose wrote letters to most of the players on San Jose, and he's like, somehow he's a big Jake DeBrusk fan, and so I mean he's in school right now, so he won't hear this, but he asked Santa Claus, not this year, but last year, for an autographed Jake DeBrusk hockey stick.
Oh,
So a couple of days before Christmas, I texted with Louis, and so Louis came over and hid the stick on the front step, and then he came in, and Luke was like, "Oh my gosh, you're Louis DeBrusk! I have a hockey card of yours." So we ran up to his hockey cards and brought out a Louis DeBrusk hockey card. Look, this is you. And so
love that.
now he's decided he wants a Louis DeBrusk autograph stick, and Christmas is too far away. So yesterday he was writing Louis DeBrusk a letter to ask him for an autograph hockey stick. So he does change all the time, but he's definitely says he's cheering for the Blackhawks today. But we'll see what happens
during the game,
because if
the Oilers get up to a lead,
like yesterday we were watching the Philadelphia 49ers game, and 5 times he switched who he was cheering for. Like every time the score changed or whatever, I don't think San Francisco's going to win anymore, so I'm cheering for Philadelphia. San Francisco scored, cheering for San Francisco now. So yeah,
he just wants to see explosions. He wants to see points.
Yeah, he likes to be on the winning side. For sure.
Winning's fun.
Yeah, winning is fun.
Yep. I get it.
Are the Oilers going to find the winning side tonight?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
They'll probably win 2 out of the next 3.
If it's 2 in a row, they'll lose the third one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like that's kind of crazy now. How what was it? Is it 8 opportunities that they've had to win that third in a row and failed every single time? Like, oh my goodness, that's got to be getting in their heads now, though.
Well, like I think McDavid talked about it. I think Hyman was asked about it, and he didn't downplay it, but you could tell he's like, you need to win a few games in a row. I've been banging that drum for a couple of weeks now. I'm sorry, I am of the mind that good teams win more than 2 in a row, and we're 46 games into the season, and they cannot win 3 games in a row.
Yeah.
To me, that's a bad sign. Now, there are others who are of the mind that doesn't matter, and I understand that, and they're right there at the top of the division.
Well, is anybody good in that division, though?
Not really.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Golden Knights have grabbed 4 in a row, so maybe they're going to slowly figure things out there. But no, it's a
like the 3 best.
None of them would even make this a spot in the Central.
Yeah, the top 3 teams in the Western Conference are all miles better than anybody in the Pacific Conference. Right now, it can change, but I mean, that's 3 really good hockey clubs over there.
Not a single team in the Pacific in the 3 playoff spots would be a playoff team in the Central, would be a playoff team in the Atlantic, and only the Golden Knights would be a playoff team in the Metropolitan. They'd be 3rd.
I think that's pretty telling.
I mean, it's by far the weakest division.
That game was primed for Edmonton to win.
Sure.
Primed, and they blew it. You know, they just blew it. Okay, I mean, should that have been a goal? The one we debated about McDavid in overtime. The more I thought about it, I was kind of mad that is now the type of goal that gets called off, because that's the rule and that's what goalie interference is, and it's become very soft. But the fact of the matter is, it got to overtime. They actually went down in the game to a team that got its ass kicked by the worst team in the NHL the night before. had played 3 games or was playing 3 games in 4 nights, was missing some of its best players, had just traded away its third line center a few weeks ago. Oh, by the way, you got their backup. And they still couldn't win it. To me, that's a bad sign.
The style that LA plays, though, is a boring style. Like they're not going to get, sure, Winnipeg beat them 4-1
Beat the wheels off of them.
But LA, that doesn't happen a lot, I don't feel like. I mean, they just play a solid defensive game, and so it kind of, it can be a coin flip at the end sometimes, and in this case, it was, because it, ended up in overtime. I don't know. As soon as that goal happened, I was watching it, because we had a ranch holiday party, and we ended up back at my house to watch the rest of the game. Like, as soon as I saw that, I'm like, that's not going to count. I didn't think it was going to count, and you had your rule book out on the post-game show and whatnot, and like, is it, isn't it? And I get your point, like, okay, it's not, but something very similar could easily happen and get called the other way.
Well, and it's a very, I don't even know if I think that should count, because McDavid is barging in there.
Yeah.
And he is affecting the goaltender's ability to make a save. My point was it wasn't an obvious disallowed goal if you really look at the rule.
Yeah.
But strange things happen with that. I remember it was 2 or 3 years ago. So, Rob and I were watching a road game together, and I think they were playing Vancouver, and the shot came in from the right point. Hyman was in front. I think this was the year Hyman was involved in 5 or 6 goals that were disallowed that either would have been his or he would have got an assist on or whatever. And the puck, I think it hit Hyman or the goalie and kept going, and it dribbled into the net. And it was maybe a foot from the goal line, and the goalie turned to get it, and Hyman was there. He would not have been able to turn in time to stop the puck. Like, that was apparent. But the goal was disallowed because the rule is that Hyman prevented the goaltender's ability to make a save.
Right.
Not, he wouldn't have made the save anyway, so it doesn't count, right? Like, the puck was virtually in when the contact happened, but because it wasn't yet in, it was still a live puck, and the rule says you can't impair the goaltender's ability to make a save. But as I pointed out on Saturday, an offensive player has a right to try to get to the puck in the crease.
Right.
So if he's playing the puck and makes incidental contact on the goaltender, that should not be goaltender interference. If he's trying to play the puck or is playing the puck. So that's where that one on Saturday, where I thought it could have counted, because McDavid didn't only try to play the puck, he did. He did, yeah. He hit the puck with the shaft of his stick, right? So you could say, well, he bumped the goalie, but he has a right to try to play a puck that's in the crease.
Right.
But I think what they ruled was he'd already made some contact and drove in. He wasn't like reaching for a rebound. He already was carrying the puck into the crease. But Knobloch's explanation was that he'd earned that ice by going around the goaltender.
And
so
I
therefore
totally
he should be able to
respect
try
and
to knock it
understand
in.
that. Yeah. And that's where we're at with goaltender interference. Like, well, what is it? And then he's busting out the rule book, and it's like, well,
still kind of gray.
By rule, that should have been a goal. And at first, Murray, at the start of the show, I was like, that's no goal. That's how they call it. And then the more I thought about it and I talked through it, and I was watching it in my home studio, I have the TV on and I see it again. I'm like, that's such a crappy call. That was such a crappy. And by the end of the show, when he was bringing up the rule book, I was getting frustrated, because I'm like, that's such garbage that we're at this point now where A, we don't really know what true goaltender interference is, because we're not following the rule book. And B, like, now that's just assumed it's not supposed to be a goal, when really, like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, that's just a goal.
Well, when was it, though, that if you had a hangnail in the crease, the goals
98,
were just
99,
waved
2000.
off?
Yeah,
Except in the biggest moment.
In the Stanley Cup
99
final,
Cup final,
Yeah.
The foot was in the crease.
But again, you could go into the crease if the puck was there. I think so. What Dallas Stars fans will tell you was that he was playing a rebound that was already in the crease. Therefore, his foot can go in there.
And remember, he like rotated, and it's
spinning,
like he was out of the crease for like a brief moment, and then re-entered it.
That was probably a goal. I mean, I know Buffalo Sabres fans will be mad forever. That was actually probably a goal.
Dallas was going to win.
Yeah, but you can't forget it. You have to keep.
But given,
you live off
but
that.
the optics at that time were like, I remember that in that era, and that was when was the crease still wider?
No.
Okay,
they
but
cut
there was a year with the wide crease when a guy was like kind of doing a wraparound and he put his skate into the crease before he fired
it.
the puck in, and they disallowed it because like the goalie was like out to lunch somewhere.
Yeah, that was terrible. Those 2 or 3 years that they had that rule, it was so
We
bad.
want to watch goals get scored. Like that's what we're all going to get entertained.
But we
by,
also all want replays, and we want the calls to be proper. We want the calls to be corrected. We don't want to miss something, so we've added replays into this game. And now with the replays, we slow things down and we go frame by frame as slow as possible.
Yeah.
And we start looking, okay, where's the infraction?
Yeah.
Like offsides, I offside to me is worse than the goaltender interference because man, like some of those, if your foot's above the blue line but it's off the ice, like is it offside? Is it not? Like
And the micro touches.
yeah,
The problem with that one too is it only takes away goals.
right.
It can never add offense into the game.
Does it matter?
They never, it's not a situation where it's like, oh no, that was ruled offside, but no, the puck actually they were onside. So let's have an offensive zone faceoff or something like that. No, we only take away goals with the offside replay.
Well, Bouchard kept that puck in before McDavid
Yeah.
was slashed to give them
That was a
2-man
bad
advantage.
offside call.
Yeah, Bouchard actually did keep that puck in.
Wow.
He did.
That's fast.
He had his argument was correct.
But Matt Duchene was ridiculously offside. And we don't want those ones. And we don't want
Sure.
those. We want those ones fixed. We want those rules changed. But once you go to video replay, well, now you have to go slow and careful. And it's the attempt to, at the very least, whether it was or wasn't on Saturdays, up to everyone else. But you attempt to follow. Now it has to be by the rule book.
Yeah.
So there's a little nudge on the goalie, the Hyman one.
But that should have been a
That's-
goal by the rule book, right? That's what your argument was.
I'm saying there's a way to interpret the rule book that
The way you want.
There's also a way to
Yeah.
interpret the rule book to disallow
It's
that.
great.
Yeah, sorry, Matty.
It's
But
great,
no,
for
but it's
sure.
like it's in one way it's that he impedes the goalie from being able to play that puck. So nope, that's going to be a goal
Right.
as opposed to let's look at this. He wasn't going to make the save. Like it was too far away. That's a goal. Like there's got to be an attempt to try to add common sense to this. But then you add into the fact that every ref will have different sense of their judgment
Yeah.
and how do you go about that. But it's the same as like the puck goes into a glove. We can sometimes see, and I think the NHL's gotten better at this now. If a puck's in a glove and we don't see the puck, but the glove goes past the line, we've gotten to a point now that we go, okay, that's a goal. We know the puck's in the glove and the glove is completely crossed. But if the glove's half in and half out,
Yeah.
even though we
How do you
think we
know?
know where the puck might have gone
don't
on,
know.
if we can't see exactly where it is, then it's called back and stuff.
Well, there have been occasions. I can't remember an example now, but there have been occasions not with a glove, Matt, because I think that's usually a little more black and white. But there have been occasions where the puck is under the goalie's pad, and you can't see the puck in the net,
Yeah.
but you can't see it out of the net. So therefore, they'll say, well, it must be in because the goalie's far enough back in that the puck had to be over the line. I've seen that a couple of times.
What I don't understand is they have the chip technology in the pucks. It's been a few years now. They've set up every arena for the advanced stats and data collecting. Every rink has it now. Okay. Last night on one of the football broadcasts, they went to like the virtual first down marker because the balls in football have chips in them now. CFL too. How do we not have an ability with the chip in the puck or the multiple chips in the puck to like figure out if it has crossed the line or not with some kind of RFID technology? We know where the net sits in every arena, both nets, they're in the same spot. How do they not have a way for us to figure out if the entirety of the puck crossed the goal line? That is,
I don't know.
That's what I'm blown away by. We have chips in the friggin' puck and have had that for a few years. We have all this technology in every single NHL arena, but we can't figure out with the puck being chipped if it actually crosses the goal line.
I wonder if it's the seeing it as much as there's still a chip is that we're putting, like in football, we put the ball down and then it happens. You know, in tennis, you saw the ball hit wherever it went. So it's live. In hockey, if it's in a goalie pad or under a goalie pad or in a glove, does that impact it? Where we know where it is or something, so it can go through. I know
with
it should, but
RFID.
I'm just wondering if because that's the only difference I kind of see is that with the football, it's not like it's mid play. They were saying they were putting the ball down and then it's able to happen.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I think
things get blocked.
like the goalpost should light up whenever a goal is scored. Like the puck
That would be-
crosses and the net just lights up.
They
Because
had
of the chips. I mean,
yeah.
that would make sense.
They had nets, and they're gone now, but they had nets that had little holes drilled into them where they had small cameras in them for a little while. They were testing those out. I remember those. It's kind of neat.
It'll happen though. It's just a matter of time. But I don't know what the delay is. But it's got to happen.
I don't know. I mean, the players wear it, and have been for 10 years, wear a tracking chip in their jerseys. You know, they
That's how
have
they
all
measure
this.
how fast they're skating. and all that kind
Yeah,
of
that's
stuff.
where you get all the data collection from. And how we haven't figured out to make a 3x1 meter disc that has chips in it to tell us if it crossed the damn line or not fully is beyond my comprehension.
Out of your pay grade, hey?
Yeah, but it still pisses me off,
Yeah,
right?
I guess it should.
Find some money and figure it out, and then you could be rich.
You
Get into the research game.
Rather just complain about it on radio and TV.
Or how about the offside one again? When does he have possession of the puck, or
hate
does he
that.
not have possession of the puck?
Brandon from Windsor just brought up the Cale McCarr goal from a couple of years
That was
ago.
correct. I stand by that.
That is such garbage.
When by the rule book, it was correct.
How can you say the puck wasn't in his possession because it was off of his blade for a fraction of a second?
Right.
That's the thing, though.
That
It's
is
off the blade.
beyond
and
ridiculous.
Based on how that rule was written, it made a lot of sense. Now they needed to change that rule. That
Yes.
year they needed to immediately rewrite that, and they needed to add something. But if you went by how it was written, he didn't have possession of that puck in it because it's off the stick. And yeah, in the end, when you have this, when the puck's touching your stick, you have possession. You're constantly gaining and losing possession when you're skating with that puck, based on how that rule was written.
But now you see guys cross the blue line
And
and
lift
they'll,
it.
they'll like lift their stick way up. Like, oh, hey, I'm not touching it. Okay, onside. Now
Yep.
I'm going to touch it.
Yeah. Which is silly.
Yeah.
Well, Bruce McCurdy, God rest his soul, had the best line because we were talking about that goal. And he goes, so what are you trying to tell me? Connor McDavid has 1,000 micro touches of the puck every single game?
Correct.
And I was just like, that is so stupid.
But that is what it.
And Bruce, you're brilliant for bringing that point up.
But that's what it was written in the rule book as.
And,
yeah.
and that's so dumb that it was written like that in the rule book and interpreted that way.
When you're stick handling, you have control of the puck, and it's not always on your tape.
You try to tell me Cale McCarr didn't have possession there?
Exactly. Like, that's
on.
crazy. He
I know
had
it's
possession.
3-4 years ago now, but
I know.
Matt, I
But
understand
the
what
puck,
you're
if
saying.
the puck moves like all of a sudden hits a rut and goes the other way, or stops, and he didn't have it on his stick, did he still have possession? Or when? And that's when do you then lose possession? Like, and that's why they needed to just immediately have changed that rule. Because Edmonton, that Cale McCarr one wasn't the first time that happened. It had happened that regular season, I think, even. And then it happened to Toronto 2 years ago or last year or something, I think. Like, we've seen it since, and it's consistently been called the exact same way, though. But it's one where from a common sense perspective, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
From a common sense perspective, we would sit there and say Cale McCarr had possession.
Right.
Okay, so
And that's where they should have changed that rule book to going, okay, well, what is possession type thing?
it'd be hard to exactly describe what possession is. But okay, so if in a shootout, if you lose possession of the puck, the shot is over.
Yeah.
Leon Draisaitl winds up for a slap shot. Well, should the ref not have blown the play down because he didn't have possession of the puck because his stick wasn't on it? He had possession of the puck, and his stick was way up here.
Yep. Exactly. Stupid.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not getting fully into that one. Again, it was, yeah. But you have for a long time in the NFL, we didn't know what a catch was. We have those things that pop up every so often, and I don't know. Common sense doesn't always take over, and that's a shame. That's an absolute shame. The official drink of the EST Hangout, by the way, it is the Finnish long drink legend in 1952. Drink unlike any other sparkling refreshment, real liquor, longdrink.com/Canada is where you can enter your post-notify liquor store establishment nearest you with the long drink in stock. How much NFL did everyone watch this weekend?
A lot.
Fair amount.
Not as much for me, but definitely some.
You had a holiday party.
I did. And the next day, I don't drink very much normally, but I overindulged in the wine that night, and I needed a few extra naps.
Sometimes those are good.
Yeah.
Favorite game? Anyone? Anyone have?
They were all pretty good, except for maybe the New England one.
Yeah.
Close. They were all
I'm surprised by the
burners.
Panthers. Legit. I'm surprised the Panthers made it that competitive.
Yeah, that
and
was a
we're
good
right
game.
in there.
I like the Buffalo game too. I thought that was a pretty exciting game.
Is it going to be their year?
You know what though? But I wasn't convinced by Buffalo in that game. I took them to win on Play Alberta, but I had my doubts. I have had my doubts about the Bills all season, where it's like they don't strike me as a dominant team that is going to win every night. They usually do win, and Josh Allen finds a way, and that's part of his aura. But I'm like, I think Jacksonville might win this game, and they sure as hell almost did.
Could have, yeah.
Yeah.
Buffalo's playing Denver for sure, right?
Correct.
Just a matter of
Because
when
New England
they
will
are.
get
Right.
the winner of tonight's game.
So I assume if Pittsburgh wins, that'll be the late game on Sunday. Pittsburgh, New England. If Houston wins, then they'll probably put Bears, Rams in the later game on Sunday.
Yeah, because we know what days every games are, right?
Right. So I think they're going to do.
Which-
I would guess they'll give one NFC game the later time slot, and because why would they wait otherwise?
Well, I'm intrigued how this all got determined too, though, because I understand Broncos, Seahawks, the two number one seeds are getting the Saturday. I'm surprised they didn't move Seahawks, 49ers to the Sunday, though, because Rams, Bears both play on the Saturday, and the 49ers played yesterday.
Yeah.
So now the 49ers get a short week.
Yes.
And the other two, when you could have easily just went, okay, you guys play Saturday, you guys play Saturday. We're going to move this one.
Yeah.
Sunday.
I guess they like putting the.
They don't want them to wait that little extra.
Yeah, I don't
Maybe
know.
I guess in
They
one way
like
for
putting the-
Seahawks, it's you don't want that extra day of rust potentially building up.
Well, I don't know.
That could possibly have come up. I got to look. There's some lines for it.
Well, I'm
For
curious
next
to hear
weekend.
that. Like,
Already?
Yeah. Well, I see it on my ESPN app. I want to see if PA has anything up for next weekend.
How much heading into this game tonight? So the last time Pittsburgh lost a Monday nighter at home was October 14th, 1991. Chuck Noll was the coach. New York beat them 23-20. Do you think that there's some magic there, or did
How many
Houston just
games
too
is
good?
it? It's like
23.
20 some Monday night home games
But now-
specifically.
Yeah.
That's not playoffs, is it? There wouldn't be any playoffs
Because, no, they've only had Monday night playoff games for
a
4
couple years, and I don't think they've been in one of those.
Right. So this would be
No.
the first time.
So because here's the one thing I love about if they lose tonight, Pittsburgh Steelers play Monday night next season. Do we still say have never lost on Monday night? Does that stat get thrown out there or not?
I think it should
Yes,
if we're talking
regular
about it
season's
this way.
different from playoffs.
So then it doesn't matter to me for tonight's game.
Well, it adds to the mystique. And
I know,
hype-
but if they
hype
lose
around
it
though.
tonight and we're still saying the streak, so then that's where I'm going to go. If we say that if they lose tonight, then we won't talk about the streak next year, then I'd say they'll probably win. I'll believe in the streak. But tonight, since it's playoffs, streak doesn't matter. Streak doesn't impact. It's a completely different.
I'm with you on that.
There were lines for next weekend. So, Texans are -3 for tonight. The 49ers, 7.5-point dogs in Seattle. So Seahawks
really?
over
That
a
makes
touchdown favorites according to Play Alberta. Basically a pick-em. Buffalo's -1 favored in Denver. Denver right now is plus money on Play Alberta. It's plus 104, but it is plus money at this moment. And then the Rams are -3.5 going to Chicago. So right now, 2 of the 3 road teams are the favorites for the next weekend's action.
I think that speaks to, for the last 6 weeks, the 3 of us and whoever else was in the chair, if there was someone in this chair, is, okay, this is what just happened on Sunday. Who do we think are the teams now? And every week we're like, geez, who the heck knows? And do you know now? I don't. A few teams are eliminated, but I don't know. Who you got?
Well, look, I cheer for the Seahawks, but I think I can do a pretty good job of separating that. I mean, they went 14-3 for a reason.
Sure.
They won the close games. They won some by blowout. They will be very hard to beat.
in Seattle.
I
especially.
realize whenever I say that, well, Darnold turnovers, yes, I agree. The Darnold turnovers are a concern, but they have a fierce defense. I mean, watching yesterday, like some of the plays that other teams made on offense, I was like, the Seahawks don't give up that play. Like they don't miss tackles. They run up and they hit hard. I think the 49ers without Kittle again, like that. No, I know they have I don't think that did they not have Jennings when they played them? Or am I thinking
He was great
the
last
Rams
night.
didn't have one of their receivers. So I do think the Seahawks will be hard to beat. I'm not saying unbeatable, but it's going to be, especially for, I think the Rams have a better chance to beat the Seahawks than the Niners do. Maybe I'll be eating my words in a week, but I think they're really, really good. I think Denver's, they were the number 1 seed for a reason. They got a pretty complete team. The Bills, I guess, have Allen, but I think we saw how good the Patriots defense is last night too. So that they're pretty good, and they got the young quarterback. By the way, it irritates me the Patriots are this good again already.
So fast.
They shouldn't have been allowed to make the playoffs for
A decade
for
or
20
more.
years.
Imagine
Yeah.
if you're a Tennessee Titans fan too. Like Mike Vrabel was your coach. And he had
right.
2, like he goes to the playoffs 3 straight years, 2 more down years as you're trying to figure some things out with the roster and all that. And just, no, we're good. Thanks, Mike. All the best. And now he's in New England doing great things.
That's why they're one of the worst run organizations. Right?
But didn't he beat the Patriots in a playoff game?
I
Vrabel?
think that was the last game.
Like 3 or 4
that
years ago?
Tom Brady played with the Patriots.
Oh, was that long ago already? Oh yeah, I guess
it was the
That
Titans
was
won that
2019.
game. You're right. And I think that was Tom Brady's last game ever.
Yeah, it was.
With the Patriots.
Yeah, I thought that was more. Yeah, you're right. Okay, but the Patriots did make it to the playoffs 3 years ago and got crushed by Buffalo when they still had the hoodie was coaching.
Yes.
and was it Mac
Jones,
Mac Jones
who's with the 49ers,
Right.
as their backup right now.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I think I watched every Seahawks game except one. I think I missed one of their Thursday night games.
Yeah.
They're an excellent team. Of course, they're not unbeatable, but I think to beat them, you're also going to have to hope that Darnold, like they beat themselves to some extent. And Jay made this point a few weeks ago, and I was kind of like, I don't know, man, but I think he's right. The Rams are excellent, but sometimes they do goofy things where they beat themselves, right? Like an ill-timed penalty or a silly play or something like that. But I mean, that's the beauty of the NFL is all these games come down to the final 2 minutes, except for the Sunday nighter, I guess. I mean, that's why it's the league, right? Because it's action, it's dramatic finishes, it's coaching decisions, especially now in this day and age. I mean, when I started watching NFL late 80s, early 90s, like I feel like you never went for it on 4th down.
Yeah.
You know, there was
changed a lot.
no 2-point convert and all that kind of stuff. It was a little more, I mean, until late in the game you might go for it. Like now these teams going for it on their own half of midfield in the first quarter, like 4th and 4.
Yep.
Like didn't the Bears go for it from their own 30 something? Like in
Early.
the first quarter, like but it's just like
brave.
possession of the
Stats
ball.
say
Like
you're going to get it.
right.
Conventional wisdom has changed. Yeah, I know you brought the book, and I have it too. But scorecasting, John Wortham.
Oh yeah.
They've talked about that. There was one team that used to coach in like high school or something. Some coach never punted.
Yeah, well, I read that article too on ESPN. It was on page 2 on ESPN, probably 20 years ago.
Yeah.
A guy did a whole piece basically saying you should not punt in the NFL unless they had a couple parameters, like unless you're really deep in your own end,
4th and 30.
or you have the lead like late in the game. But he basically said it's not, because his premise was, and I think he was actually a business major that somehow related this to decisions in the business world. But his premise was, okay, what's the most important thing in football? Scoring points. But he's like, that's actually the end result. How do you score points?
Possession.
You must have the football.
Yeah.
Like he basically said defensive touchdowns and special teams touchdowns are relatively rare. So if you want to score points, you must have the ball. Why would you give up the ball? Especially, so he looked at, okay, the average gain on a play is whatever point, how many yards. I wish I could remember it in more detail. But he basically saying if you have less than that, for sure you should never punt. And if you have more than that to go, well, depending on where you're on the field, you're maybe still better off going for it.
Imagine what offensive coordinators would think if they knew they're always just going for fourth downs.
Yeah.
How they would approach the down. Things would be done a little bit differently. You might start with that first down, be more open to throwing it deep because you know that you still have 3 more downs to work with.
Well, even on the broadcast, Matty, I can't remember. Was it all Fox yesterday? No.
I think all the networks had one. CBS,
Nance
Fox, and
Romo
NBC
did the first Bills game, didn't they?
Yeah, that's right. Because it was,
across the 3 main ones that we remember.
I don't remember which broadcast it was, but it was on the screen where it says, and in the corner it said, analytics say go for it.
Oh, yeah,
it was in
it'll
green.
see the percentage.
Yeah, ESPN has that a lot too.
But now it's just on the screen.
And it's rare for them ever to say don't go for it.
Yeah.
And it's very rare I've ever seen it be like don't go.
The extra roster spot could be valuable too. Get an extra, defensive player or offensive player.
But you still need a punter just in
roster.
case.
Right.
No, because then if you get in that crazy situation, the kicker can probably do a manageable enough job to get the ball off.
Right.
No?
Yeah.
Train those place kickers how to punt.
Yeah.
This isn't for anyone but a few out there. Real Madrid, this is breaking news, and Javi Alonso have parted ways by mutual consent. Alonso had an unbelievable season with Bayern Leverkusen a couple years ago. He stayed for 1 more year. It was a big deal that he was going to Real Madrid, and he doesn't even get through a season. And he is out after they lose to Barcelona yesterday. Is he going to be off to Liverpool? Is Slot going to be out and bring in Alonso? Bring him there? He turned them down, and that's when Slot got that job. That's some massive news from the football world.
They lost to Barcelona.
They did. And then Mbappe ruled over his manager. The manager wanted to, it's called the honor guard, where you stand there while the other team walks through to get their trophy. That's what the manager wanted to do, Alonso. And Mbappe told the players, nope. And they walked away. And you're like, how do you override the manager? So that doesn't surprise me then today that there's mutual consent change. He went into that room trying to make things not as much of a country club, and the players didn't like it, so they're running that there, and that's not good. Nanso's Neff is not going to be happy, or maybe he will be. I don't know. I should message him.
He's on holidays.
Soccer. Are you a soccer guy?
No.
It's just the biggest sport in the world.
I'll watch the World Cup. I'll be interested in the World Cup.
And that's the biggest sporting club in the world.
Yeah. Okay. Boring.
Again, to you.
Yeah,
People can say that
very
about golf.
Well, that's fair. I can buy into that theory too. I don't even watch that much golf because it's kind of boring to watch.
Brooks Koepka going back to the PGA, apparently.
Well,
You had to apply?
yeah. They won't let him play. I don't think. I
They
think
won't
that-
or will?
No. Not. They'll
come?
suspend him for a year.
Oh, wow.
Well, they have to. Otherwise, we talked about that a lot.
It'll probably be a major fine
If you
instead.
take the bag of money and went and did that, you can't just come back because all the other guys are going to go, wait a minute. Why, we didn't go take the bag, and why are you letting this guy just come back? Like, you can't. You have to punish him in some way, suspend him for some period of time. So I think he'll be able to play the majors and...
Sponsor exemptions or no?
I don't think so.
Unless there's a big fine they put to it.
Well, sure.
Like, hey, we're going to put up a $10 million fine, a re-entry.
Yeah, I could maybe
reinstatement
see
fee
that.
type thing. You pay $10 million, we'll let you come in early.
Yeah, or a certain percentage of the bag that you took in the first place to go over there or something. I don't know. But they can't just let him back in with no consequence for the decision that he made. It can't happen.
Do you think a bunch of guys are going to come back? Like, do you think Liv will peter out?
I sure hope so. I mean, I'd like to see a lot more best on best.
But how many guys would come back? Like, that are actually meaningful?
Well,
there's a lot of old guys there. You don't need the Ian Poulters of the world. Stenson's out there now.
Rom went to Liv, didn't he?
Yes.
Rom's the big one. Bryson's the other big one.
Yeah.
Those are the two that
What
I would
about
say.
Cameron?
Cam Smith is
Cam
dropped.
Smith. Yeah, because he doesn't play. I mean, everyone drops when they go over there because they just don't play.
Hey, Rom was their champion this year.
How did he do in the majors?
Didn't he have one good
Very
major?
well.
Or no?
Well, I don't know. That's now they're hanging by a thread though. With Koepka coming back, they've got two big names left, and if
And the players they brought in for this year aren't even that sexy.
yeah, no names, yeah.
DJ's basically done. Like I think
he
he's
doesn't
just
care.
coasting into.
He took the bag and then just literally didn't care anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's. I just wish.
Phil doesn't matter.
Yeah, I just wish it would just end. I mean, it's been such a creates lots of great conversation on my show in the summertime because live versus that versus PGA and guys that are leaving and stuff. It's made for some great content. But to me, I just want these guys over here and having best on best play more often. It has maybe brought a little more attention to the majors because it's the one time or 4 times a year, I guess, that it is best on best. But so many of those live guys just haven't kept their games up. Well, I don't know.
Shocking. If only we had predicted this. I say that very sarcastically.
They have brought some decent changes to the PGA. I will always give Liv credit for that.
Yeah,
Because if it
100%.
wasn't for Liv, there wouldn't have been, for the players at least, there wouldn't have been the change that we saw, the elevated events and things like that. So
someone was making a lot of money and it wasn't the players.
Yeah.
yes.
TGL also kind of came out of this. I'm not going to lie. I've kind of kept a little bit of an eye on TGL. I enjoy it. It's gimmicky, but
Yeah. Well, there's so
like a
much
side piece.
indoor golf is becoming incredibly popular.
Yeah.
And so why not?
yeah. I've enjoyed it. I mean, I see it and I won't turn it off. And I'm like, see what's going on. I still don't care who's on what team or what the format is, but I just find the interactive blending video games with the real golf, like the way they do. And like you said, Murray, like sim golf is very fun. A lot of people do it, especially in our climate. I'm like, this is great. Like seeing these guys flub up. I can't remember the name of this one hole they were playing, but it was basically they had to put it was a canyon over the green, and they basically had to fire like a screamer, and they kept hitting the top of the canyon and it would drop into the water or go into the rough, and all of them were trying to like shoot little stingers and they couldn't. And I was like, you know what? Them being frustrated and struggling with this, and each guy seeing the other guy on his drive screw up, I'm kind of enjoying this. So, and there's some clever holes that they've created, make guys get creative with their shots and all that. So I kind of like it.
Yeah. Well, the other part of it, with what I do for a living, growing the game is very important. We want more people playing golf and more, and that league has gotten more eyes onto the game of golf than were on it before. And so does that encourage them to go try some indoor golf and then maybe graduate to outdoor golf? Probably.
Yeah.
And so that's great for the sport as a whole. And so I'm all for it.
CFL winter meeting starting today. I'm going to go through the whole topics of discussion that will be coming up. Doesn't guarantee any changes or anything. Application of the rule changes, which is most notably figuring out the last 3 minutes that are supposed to be changing with the play clock. Additional rule changes, the annual rules committee. Overtime potential format adjustments during the regular season. Replay center review of the mandate negotiation list. Maybe adding an American draft. Working on Olympic guidelines for the 28th CFL schedule and player eligibility. Playoffs, potential adjustments to the Grey Cup playoffs for future seasons. Free agency communication window. Potential adjustments to format and timeline. Looking at more on uniform branding opportunities, partly because they added for the playoffs, which I think on the lower back they added one. So they're trying to see if there's more there.
Didn't love that.
End of season player recognition, potential format adjustments, CFL awards and all CFL teams, and then contingency planning related to inclement weather, just communications, all that. This is based off of Saskatchewan, Calgary this year. And then player compensation transparency, because we didn't find out about the salary cap increase last year until after free agency began, where everyone's like, what's going on here? Of that, does anything excite you that you're hoping the CFL makes some sort of change?
Well, the rule changes have not been clarified, right?
The 3-minute warning one, no.
Because what's this year? The 35-second clock.
35-second clock. Players on teams
Do the
on separate
benches start this
side,
year already?
and the rouge change. Missed field goals, there will not be rouges if it goes through the end zone.
Right.
Good.
So the timing of the game is still important. Like the 35 seconds between plays before the 3-minute warning will not be overly noticeable, because
I think it might add plays.
Maybe.
I've either late in an Elks game last year. At one point, I was with Jay and I started timing between plays, and I was up to upwards of 40 seconds for some of them. So now there'll have to be a rush.
A little bit, and the refs might have to move a little quicker.
Yeah.
But they have not said what's going to happen after the 3-minute warning.
Yeah.
So are they going to keep the 20-second clock? Because if they do sort of the stop time that they do now, but still have 35 seconds, well, now you can kneel down the last minute 10.
Yeah.
as opposed to now it's difficult to kneel down the last 40, right? So they need to decide what they're going to do. Are they going to add a timeout maybe or something like that? That'll be significant, because what does this league say? Well, anything can happen. And I mean, remember that Saskatchewan game? I looked up the number of plays that were run, because the Elks were like beating Saskatchewan by a couple scores, and then Saskatchewan wound up with a 2-point convert to tie it. Like the Riders ran something like 18 or 20 plays after the 3-minute warning. Oh, wow. It was like crazy. They ran almost as many plays after the 3-minute warning as they'd run the entire half. Like, it's almost too much. So they'll have to decide that. That's the big one for me. And it's surprising. Well, I mean, these changes were kind of announced quite rushed anyway. So what are they going to do after the 3-minute warning for the clock? I mean, they could just say we'll revert to the then be
20-second clock. Yeah, they have to do something like that. I don't think they can't do it with the 35-second clock. If you're going to whistle in it, you can. Yeah, it should be 20 seconds. They'll just go back to the old thing. It's like that's what in the NFL. Once a timeout's called, clock starts at 25. So even the technology's there. You can't even worry about the play clock. Yeah. They move that all the time. If you lose that one, you'll piss off a lot of people in that one.
There was an NFL rule in the final 5 minutes, something to do with sidelines, like
out of bounds in the last 5 minutes. The game stops the clock until it's snapped.
That's right.
As opposed to, it'll stop temporarily till they set the ball and they wind it. So sometimes that's not very long.
So then the going back to 20 seconds in the final 3 minutes of the halves in a football game, I'm okay with, just to keep it the same way. Yeah, sure.
Keep those finishes exciting. Keep them going as we want them. And it just causes the excitement. If all this is to try to gain more scoring and excitement, making the last few minutes less exciting is kind of counterintuitive.
Right.
So I hope that I really hope we get CFL playoff changes. I would love, if you want, even keeping your divisions at least right now, they just get intermediate buys and maybe rename East-West divisions or whatever, and then just seed everyone else's wild card.
No, they won't do that.
Like the NHL, you have your playoff spots locked in with the divisions, then the wild card spots. Just make it all wild card and to the top 2 or something. Like the 6 best teams should go, and they should be ranked 1 through 6.
Yes, of course they should. They won't. Well, they will not do that.
What do you think their reasoning for that would be? Just tradition?
Just because I don't think they think it's a problem.
But this is the first time it's now coming up.
Like what?
But it is coming up that they're going to discuss it. I don't know if we've ever heard that they're going to be discussing.
Well, how did they word it on the thing?
Let me pull it up again here quickly.
And in the time he pulls it up.
Playoff overtime.
No, there's overtime is one, which is potential format adjustments during the regular season. But then there's playoffs, potential adjustments to the Grey Cup playoff format for future seasons.
Oh, there is? Okay.
And Dusty could probably speak to this more because he's been more in depth with the league longer than I have. But I noticed this year, players and coaches and stuff like that were talking about going to the true 1 to 9.
Well, I'd like that. Format. I mean, there's no need to have divisions,
especially if you had a 10th team.
Well, I think if there's 10 teams, they'd feel more need to have divisions, because then they could have 2 5s as opposed to and get rid of a crossover.
But like what's always weird about that is then if we get to 10 teams, you're playing 18 games, you're playing everyone twice. That's it.
That'd be perfect. Home with
and no 3 bye weeks.
So then there's no extra rivalries. There's none of that stuff for divisions. So you're just playing everyone the exact same.
I don't think that's what they would do.
But the league, your fans hated because just a couple of years ago we had where there was less games against the other division, and fans hated, and they're like, we want to see every team in our barn.
Right. Well, okay. First of all, I'll borrow something that somebody in Major League Baseball said in the 60s when they went to divisions. They said it's pretty hard to market a 10th place team. Like look in the NFL. True. No one finishes worse than 4th.
Right.
You're always 4th in your division, and you can have a division like Carolina making it at 8 and 9. This is, and I never said, I said this finally, I think last year, because Randy Ambrosi, this was pre-COVID, told me this in confidence during a commercial break. I don't think it applies anymore. So he said one of his ideas was add a 10th team, have 2 divisions of 5. You play every team in your division thrice for 12 games. You play the other division once each for 5. You play 17 games.
Yep.
And you alternate which division gets the extra home game year after year. Because there's a 10th team now, you're still giving TSN the same number of games, and you're taking a game away from the regular season for player safety. It's one less chance to get injured. So he wanted to emphasize the division rivalries. So Edmonton would always play BC 3 times, always play Saskatchewan 3 times, and then plus you'd play them in the playoffs.
Well, there's a way to do that where you keep it at 18. So everyone 3 times, you play everyone once, and then you do the NFL system that extra game is where did you finish in the standings?
Right.
You play that other team. So if you finished first in the West last year, you would play the first in the East a second time. They'll get a home and a home. Second, third, fourth, fifth, they'll get that extra.
Is there really an appetite to do that though, or is this just something fans and media talk about?
I think the team for the playoffs. Initially, I don't think going from 18 to 17 would have appetite with the owners because that's a gate revenue type thing. Yeah. For the fans, I think fans and media desperately do want it. It kills the crossover, and it just instead goes, we take the 6 best teams.
Yeah,
and that's where I could also live with divisions, though, where it's if you win your division, you get the bye. And then everyone else is wild card after that. And change the names.
So the East-West.
Have the Doug Flutie and the Warren Moon divisions. So that now they don't mean
East-West. They'd still be East-West.
Absolutely, but don't have it.
Wouldn't have a necessarily guaranteed East-West.
Yeah, and then that's the thing. And then, okay, right off the bat, if you're the regular season champ of your division, you're the East winner and the West winner. But then we go into 2 brackets and we see them that way. So, BC's going to have a bye and Toronto's going to have a bye, and then everyone else. BC's going to be hosting Ottawa. No, let's say Calgary, Ottawa, and Edmonton, Saskatchewan. That's how it goes. And we just go from there.
I wouldn't mind seeing something like that. I don't know if they're going to do it.
I don't think they'll do it now, but the fact that they're discussing it, I think maybe this hopefully will keep coming up, and then over the next few years they'll be like, hey, the appetite will be there enough.
Well, maybe if there's any commissioner that might do it, it's this one. I mean, he pretty much, what was he, like 150 days on the job when he came out with this announcement?
Yeah.
And again, it wasn't even a complete announcement, and it took minor football by surprise because they're like, what? We got to change our fields?
Yeah.
And then we had all these questions about the 3-minute warning and some other things. So maybe he's the one to do it, where he's just going to say, screw it. And we, as much as there are rivalries, we don't need Winnipeg and Saskatchewan 5 out of every 6 years in the playoffs. Like maybe Saskatchewan and Ottawa can play in a semifinal, right? Or a quarterfinal or whatever.
You had issues with the ads on the bot?
Yeah, I don't like it.
Is that just because traditionalist?
Yeah, sure, traditionalist. I find this is just me, but like when I see ads on jerseys, I think it cheapens the brand of the league. I also understand the need to create more money and ad revenue, all that stuff, and that's a very important thing, obviously, to grow it. But I just feel like the integrity of the uniform has already been damaged when they introduced the patches. I think in the early aughts.
Yeah.
I think it was like 2002 where they started. You saw like a Molson Canadian on the
Montreal was like the first to do it.
Yeah. So that precedent has been there for a couple decades. And then I saw that Mobile One ad at the bottom of the jersey on the back underneath the number. And I was like, damn. I'm like, come on. I hope my preference is for there not to be more advertising on the jerseys. There's already 2 prominent patches. They added the Canadian flag. They didn't need to do that. And then the provincial flag as well. They're tiny, but I think that also mucks up the uniform.
Not all teams did that, though.
No, not all teams, but a good chunk.
Alberta teams, the Quebec, Montreal, and Saskatchewan, I think, or something. It wasn't all. It was weird that not all teams did that one. I feel like it's either all or none.
I don't think you need that. And I would hope that they could find another way to generate revenue and not sell a portion of the jersey. Just integrity, aesthetic. That's just me. I'm not the business guy doing the business model. And I know jersey space is lucrative. I know what they pay NHL teams, at least the one here, and it's a lot of money. So I hope they don't do that and they find other ways to get revenue in and generate it.
I'll just throw in that when I saw that list, I loved it because I like that they're taking a look at everything, and if there's ways that they can tweak and just make everything a little better, I think that's a good idea. And the other thing that I really like about it is some of the things they're talking about would bring much more transparency to us as fans or media to be able to know and understand what's going on. When we're talking about like the negotiation lists and, putting just a team can just put a guy on it and he's not available to anyone else. So a draft, that might make some sense. I mean, I just think, and the dollars and cents of salaries and stuff, and nobody knows that, and the salary cap, where teams are at the salary cap. I think it would be nice if the league was more transparent with things like that to just make it better for fans.
Do you want to go?
Well, I think with this commissioner, and again, like these rule changes, we'll see. I mean, I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
But I think he has the attitude that we've always done it this way is not a reason to keep doing it that way.
Yeah.
Which I do admire to some extent. Now, that means you look at everything. It doesn't mean you change everything just for the sake of changing it. So it's nice to see a list where, they're actually like might talk about the playoff format or overtime or different things like that. So I'll give him credit for that. Will it bring more people to the game, more eyes on the game? I guess we'll see. Like all the people who complained about the Rouge, are they going to now watch CFL because the Rouge is different? I mean, a lot of games didn't have a Rouge.
Yeah.
Right. So we'll see.
I'm just satisfied that they made it less cheesy.
That's a big list, and it's 2 days. So how
It's
much
just discussion.
Yeah,
But I think it's one of the first time they've actually been fully open about everything that might come up.
which is great. But how much can they really accomplish and change in 2 days? I think it's maybe starting the conversation on a lot of things that maybe some will be, we're happy with this, but this we're going to talk about more in the future. But you're not going to see a great big huge list of changes on all of those items in 2 days of meetings. You can't get through that much stuff in 2 days and get it sorted out and announce it Tuesday night. What you're going to do is there's way more to it than
Well, they have rules committee and all that as well. I was just going to add one other thing. The salaries and all that. Do you think part of the reason why they don't disclose is because the salaries compared to other sports leagues are relatively low?
It's exactly what.
And, and they don't want to divulge that.
They don't want it to people be like, this is a lesser league because this is all you're paying. Even though the minimum salary is almost going to be $80,000.
Yeah.
Right.
For
6 months.
6 months of work.
Yeah.
That's a great job to have. Need to get to Play Alberta over under. Download the app, visit them, playalberta.ca. By the way, it's already 6 degrees in Edmonton.
Good.
Going for a high of 8, 10, 5, 3, 8, 2 is the 7-day forecast.
Let's go.
The next 3 nights above zero overnight lows. So that's hopefully clean up our roads quite nicely here.
Good call, Matty.
By the way, also Mangiapane in, Howard out, and it looks like Dusty right now will be 3 for 3 in the Kapanen bet with you and Hernan. You're getting a little nervous, people are asking.
Not really.
You're not nervous?
No.
That if he starts tonight, it's all down to tomorrow, and you might be owing Dusty Popeyes.
Hey, that's fine. And guess what? If I lose, we all win.
How do we all win?
Oh, I have an idea.
Okay.
What's the bet?
If Kapanen plays from when the last Wednesday plays in the top 6 to start the game for all 4 games until Wednesday's oil stream, him and Hernando Dusty Popeyes. If Kapanen gets taken off once, bet's over, they win, and Dusty buys the Office Popeyes.
Oh, I thought he was buying the Office Popeyes no matter what.
That'd be a kind thing
should.
to do,
Yeah,
maybe.
We'll see.
Oilers 2 games today, tomorrow. Chicago, Nashville. 3.5 points over under. How many points do the Oilers get?
Under.
I got to say under too because my Hawks are going to win tonight. I hope. I
So
just want to
under quickly, is that a win and an OT loss, or is that just a win, or is that 2 losses?
You didn't ask me that. You said over under.
Perfect.
I'm going under. But I want to throw one other quick thing. I want to shout out Team Kevin Cooey and my buddy Carrick Martin win Alberta Provincial Championships and are off to the Briar again. And I'll work with you on it, Maddie, but we'll
Excellent.
get Carrick to join us for a hangout before the Briar again.
That'd be great.
And chat some curling.
Good shout out. Like it. Well done.
Over under. I should have probably brought that to 2.5, but I said 3.5.
I'll go over. I say they
They're
win
sweeping?
these. back-to-backs. They have not been good in back-to-backs.
So they're going to lose later this week.
And they'll lose on Thursday.
That
Make it
could
9.
happen. They
Three
win
in
these
a
2 road games. Everybody's excited.
Yeah.
They come home and lay an egg against the Islanders.
Yeah.
Reid, appreciate you coming in early. Murray, it's always great seeing you. What's coming up on the Reid Wilkins Show with Jay Milne today?
We're on from 3 until 5:30. We'll set up the game. Ben Pope from the Chicago Sun-Times
Great guy.
is going to join us, and we will also talk NFL and Sal Capaccio
Oh,
from
great.
WGR in Buffalo.
Solid, dude.
We'll check in.
Lock Shop coming up. We've got Oil Stream. We've got EST Afternoons. We've got Reid Wilkins Show with Jay Milne. We've got GCL Diesel Oil Stream pre and post game shows. Tommy Benny getting set for Oilers and Blackhawks later tonight. That's all to come here on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton Sports, presented by Play Alberta. This has been the Hangout presented by Sentinel Storage, Canada Storage Expert. Find a convenient location nearest you at sentinel.ca. On behalf of Murray, Reid, Tommy, I am Matt. Thanks for tuning again. Lock Shop coming up in just a few minutes with Dusty and Huss. A lot to take out to, especially in the NFL. Don't go anywhere.
Let's go. There you go, right in front of the camera.
First-time guest, long-time listener, fan of the original draft commissioner.
Welcome to the EST Hangout presented by White Claw Hard Seltzer. The difference is clear. Matt Iwanyk, Tom Gazzola with here, joining us today.